everyone, Michelle the Storyteller here. I promised a fairy tale and I'm here to deliver. So for anyone who's ever seen any of my fairy tale presentations or shows, you know that I like to talk about the moral and stories lesson. Well, today I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler and tell you that part before the actual story. Today's story is about selflessness and giving. A little bit of kindness too. And to tell you the truth, it's my favorite story. So, in the spirit of that lesson, I have a small request to make of my cosplay friends. A lot of you make these amazing things. You have all these wonderful talents. And right now I know you're frustrated because you may not be able to show it off or use it. Well, right now there's a ton of groups in desperate need of medical masks. All it takes to help out is just a little bit of cotton, some thread, and some elastic. I know for a fact a lot of you already have that. But these groups aren't in need of one or two. They're in need of several. As a matter of fact, the Deaconess Hospital, I've included a link for it, has an entire list of organizations that are requesting medical masks, including the New York National Guard that just put in a request for 5,000. 5,000 is a lot for one person, but not for one community. As a matter of fact, as a community, I think we can probably help several of these organizations. So let's try it. It doesn't take very much to do. It's a pretty simple pattern. All you need is just a little bit of cloth, some time. With this design, it just takes 3 folds. There's several others that you can find online too, and you can use pretty much any kind of cotton that you have as long as it's 100%. So I have different patterns that I've used. It doesn't really have to be anything special. I like geeky patterns, so that's what I have. But you can even use plain fabrics if you want. The pattern doesn't matter, at least not the design. What matters is that you're helping people. And one mask impacts that person's life, but if it keeps them safe, it impacts the lives of their families and loved ones too. So what I'd like for you guys to do is, if you decide to join this, first of all, share. Try to get more people involved. But also post where you have resources. So if you know where to find elastic, let someone know. If you maybe can't sew, but you know where to get some good fabric, or you maybe have someone to donate, connect with someone who has it. That way maybe they can use it. So not everyone has to do everything, but we can all chip in. Now, I am not recommending that people get together in groups and sew. I am not going to say that because that's not what social distancing is about. But maybe by working on this together as a community, we can connect through our creativity, while also being able to help others. At least that's my hope. Enough about that though, because I know if I keep going on about that, I never tell the story, I'll get in trouble. So, whenever I tell a story, I like to try to remember what it was like to be a kid whenever I heard a fairy tale. And the words, once upon a time, are magical, at least to me. So whenever I say once upon a time, I want you to and get that face that you get whenever you're a kid and you're so excited. So let's try it. Once upon a time. Come on guys, you didn't even try. Maybe 1 or 2 of you did it, but not the rest. Once upon a time, there was a man on the moon. And he was very lonely. He was all by himself. And as he looked down to the world, he saw that all the people, all of the animals had their friends. When he looked up to the stars, he saw that all of them had theirs. But no matter where he looked around him, he was by himself. And he got very lonely. He would often think about what it would be like to have a friend until one day he decided he was going to go make one. Now, he didn't want to scare anyone. After all, celestial beings weren't exactly a common thing. So he disguised himself as an old man and went down to the world. And as he went through on his travels, he saw a group of friends that he thought were absolutely amazing. It consisted of a fox, a monkey, and a rabbit. Now, when these friends saw him, they immediately went over and tried to figure out what they could do to help. Are you okay? Are you all right? Is there anything you need?"
"Well, I am tired," he said. "I would like something to eat."
The friends immediately found him a stump to rest upon, and they each went off in their separate directions to try to get him something to eat. The monkey went up to the trees and pulled down some fruit. The fox went to a stream and pulled out some fish. But the poor rabbit, no matter where she looked, she couldn't find anything. She could find plenty for a rabbit to eat, but not a human. Nothing that would be good for them anyway. So as she came back, she was very upset and very disappointed. So she looked at the man and said, "I am so, so sorry. But I've not given up yet." So she looked to the monkey and asked him to gather some wood, which he did. Once he brought it back, she arranged it. And then she looked over at the fox and asked him to light it aflame with his fox magic, and he did. And she said, "I am so sorry. Since I couldn't find anything for you, take me instead." And with that, she jumped towards the flames. But before her fur could ever be singed, the man took his original form and crept in and got her in his arms. He held her close and he soothed her. "You are so kind. You are so considerate. All of you are. But you were willing to give yourself for a stranger? Rabbit, would you like to go to the moon with me?" And as he said this, streams of tears came down his face, tears of joy. And his smile was so huge. He'd never felt that way before. He'd never known that kind of kindness. And the rabbit was touched. So she looked to her friends, she bid them goodbye, and she went to the moon with him. And there she lives to this day with her best friend. If you look in one direction, you can see a man smiling on the moon, but if you look in another direction, you can see the shadow of a rabbit. Now, granted, I am not saying jump onto a flame. All I'm asking for is a little bit of sewing. Let's make our own fairy tale come true.